He spent every hour daily trying to convince us that he wasn't sick. He places 2 AAA batteries on his head for pain relief. He cannot live without the batteries, which he insists on changing frequently. I must have bought 1,000 batteries.
Tom Schneiders began to show signs of psychosis in middle age. He quit his job as a state prosecutor. His marriage unraveled, and he moved in with his parents in Lake Worth. Thomas and Delina Schneiders hospitalized their son and tried different medications.
And Thomas Schneider's court appearance just wrapped up. The gruesome details outlined in this report say that he allegedly beat his mother to death over the head with a crowbar. He then went for his father, who survived by playing dead. And at the center of all this is mental illness.
I crawled into the bedroom to be near the telephone, but found it dead. Tom stood over me, holding a steel bar, and I stood there and watched him eyeball to eyeball for 14 hours, wondering if he's going to strike me anymore.
Across Florida, families of the mentally ill are literally dying for help. No government agency tracks the toll, but a Sun Sentinel investigation determined that people with mental illnesses have killed or brutally assaulted at least 500 loved ones in Florida since 2000. During that time, Florida's spending on mental health has dramatically declined. The state spent 1/3 less per capita on mental health and drug treatment last year than it did in 2000.
Unfortunately, there's such a lack of services. If a family member knows that someone is starting to have problems, getting that first appointment with a psychiatrist takes months.
Michael Tamey, who suffered from schizophrenia and was threatening suicide, had been hospitalized more than 25 times when police brought him to Broward Health Imperial Point in 2010. Tamey was released after 13 days with cab fare, a prescription, and no shoes. The next morning, his body was found on a sidewalk less than 2 miles from Imperial Point. He had overdosed on medication prescribed by the hospital.
We did not find out that my brother was discharged until they found him dead.
A hospital spokeswoman said patient privacy laws prevented the hospital from commenting. A state investigation found the hospital was not obligated to notify the family because Tamey asked to leave and was considered a competent adult.
If there was a good community-based intensive service out there for people that could be regulated according to the person's needs, I think that we would end up with a lot less people discharged to the street.
Florida has too few options between emergency hospitalizations and confinement in state institutions, leaving parents like Nancy Bruneau with a horrible choice. Her son Beau had been repeatedly hospitalized and sent home, usually within a few days, Bruneau's daughter said. The family once tried to convince the court to send him to a long-term treatment facility, but the effort failed. In October 2010, Beau Bruneau called police.
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, I just tried to kill my mom.
What exactly did you do?
I hit her, and then I hit her with a hammer and then with a brick.
Police found her body in the front yard of her Hollywood home in 2010. Her skull was shattered and her stomach sliced open.
You have to say you're a threat to yourself or to others.
Edward Covington says he knows what it takes to get mental health treatment.
I knew I wasn't a threat to others at the time, and I didn't want to hurt myself. I just needed to get to the hospital. They can't take action on that.
He's now on death row for one of Florida's most gruesome crimes. The mentally disturbed killer described his odyssey through the mental health system, recalling what he once told fellow patients at a group therapy session during his last hospitalization.
I need help. I want help. I don't know why. I just have this ominous feeling that I'm going to lose it.
3 weeks later, on Mother's Day 2008, Covington slaughtered his girlfriend, her 7-year-old son, 2-year-old daughter, and the family dog. Prosecutors said his rampage was fueled by alcohol and cocaine, not mental illness. A judge sentenced him to death. Now at Florida State Prison, Covington is on psychiatric medications and a routine that he said keeps him stable.
The mental health system outside right now is just non-existent when it comes to actually helping, and to have to come here to actually be helped, that's the irony.